somebody who I share also a career which was in the hospitality before. So I have a special guest who left his corporate job in hospitality and came on this side of transforming people. The mantra that he has, I read it, is that I believe that success is finding a purpose and then designing a life that embraces it. So this person who's on the podcast today, I think he's a very popular guy because he already has 1.3 million subscribers on YouTube, 50 million plus views of his inspirational videos. So I'm not sure did he really have to be on this podcast, but it serves my purpose. So welcome, Simerjeet. I'm so glad that you're here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Archana.
Yeah, because I think you are doing exactly what I am trying to do now in this little small journey of mine, trying to touch people's lives, just trying to be the growth catalyst as you are, or, just trying to probe them a little further, to know them a little bit more, to be a better person.
And you're doing a great job. I tuned into some of the previous podcast episodes, great guests, great conversations, and I think great takeaways as well.
Yeah, so we are so excited to take away a lot from you because that's what you do even for your earnings. So what better?
That's right. That's right. Aaj free ka langar hai aaj. Make the most out of it, guys.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So tell me, where do I start? Okay, let's start from, of course, you're dropping your corporate job and coming outside. How was that journey? I mean, how was that journey? You did it a few years ago. That time, I'm not even sure if people needed mindset coaches or people who are transforming lives in a way that they need today after COVID. Everybody out there is like a life coach today. But how was it for you and why did you do it?
So I think it was not like a conscious decision to figure out what the market needs or what will work well or what should I be doing in order to have more wealth or more prominence or more people know me. That was not the driving thing there. And I'm reminded of this quote that I share very often by American theologian Howard Thurman, who said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go and do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive." And that gives me goosebumps every time I read it out, and I've used it very often. I've lived by that philosophy. Don't ask what the world needs. You don't have to follow the current trends because they keep changing all the time. That's a short-term strategy. Ask what makes you come alive, and then go and do that because what the world needs is people who have come alive. So and I was blessed to have these 8 years in 5 different countries in the hospitality industry, and I was operations manager, my last job, at a hotel in Dorking, southwest of England. And before that, it was Grand Hyatt Dubai, again, leading a multicultural team. And so what I developed over a period of time is the understanding that what I deeply enjoy, what makes me come alive, is helping someone else overcome their limiting belief, is instilling more self-confidence in someone else, is maybe extending a hand out to someone and say, hey, I could take you to a better place. I could show you a better possibility. That was very exciting. Even on the days when I was not feeling in top shape myself, that act of reaching out, of connecting, of lifting somebody else would make me feel better in the process too. So it was there underneath the surface, Archana, but over a period of time was becoming gradually, increasingly clear that this is what I enjoy doing the most. This is my calling. This is what makes me come alive. Now, how am I going to convert it into a profession was something I had not figured out, right? So, and a lot of the viewers, especially those who follow me on YouTube and other podcasts, etc., might be familiar with this. Akin to this is similar to jumping out of a plane, right? But you have to take these decisions. So it wasn't fully prepared, it wasn't well rehearsed. I was not sure how I'm going to land, where I'm going to land. But it's like cleaning up. When you do spring cleaning, it's like, I don't know what I'm going to buy next to keep here, but this must go.
Wow.
Yeah, this has to be, it served its purpose. why don't I give this shirt to somebody else who can wear? I've worn it for several years. And so I'll clear out more space in my wardrobe, for example. What I'll buy next, I don't know yet. But I think this must go. And similar approach there. So I thought it's maybe served the purpose. It was the discontent was growing every day. And I felt it was very clear I had more energy, intellectual, physical, spiritual, than was being used by my current profession, or than or the system even allowed me to use. So with this extra energy, what do? In Britain, you go to the pub in the evening and you guzzle down 4 liters of lager beer, right? And you sleep and you repeat. But it was becoming apparent over a period of time that there's something missing. There's a void. And then all these patriotic movies came out, right? Swadesh was out at that point of time. Bhagat Singh's on his life, 3 or 4 movies were out at that point of time. There was like a race to make movies on Bhagat Singh. And I would listen to the songs. Sorry, guys, too. They were downloaded off I don't know, some of them were legit from Apple Music. Some were just downloaded from MP3 sites. And I would just tune into these. And like walking from my hotel, I used to live on the property itself, listed building, 18th century listed building. I would walk to my gym, and I was gradually coming to the conclusion that I do not want my kids, and we were married, but we didn't have kids. But when I have kids, I don't want them to grow up not knowing what being an Indian means, not being out of touch with who they are, getting on this new identity. And I wasn't sure about that. So that projection into the future
Right.
helped me sort of clarify what I needed to change today. And I encourage everyone to do that too, because on your current path, on your current trajectory, fast forward a couple of years and see what you see, and do you like it? Are you deep down, is it going to be okay with your values in the long run? Are you going to regret some parts of it? And if that's the case, what would you do today to course correct? That's very important. You just don't have to mindlessly keep moving forward. So those were sort of the things that led me to this crazy decision back in 2007, Archana.
Yeah, but I like what you're saying, that do you align with what you believe in? Do you really believe in what you're getting? But don't we face in even what we are doing right now? So you say that, if this is something that I probe into often and I do a course correction, so if there is another opening that I, seize from here, I should take a plunge, or what do you think?
It's not just in the nature of opportunities itself, but it is fundamentally at a deeper level. So course correction is not at the surface. At the surface, you'll have a multitude of different options I can pursue: A, B, C, D, etc., which in more or less would be variations of what is currently available. The course correction is at a very deep level. So it's maybe 4 or 5 layers deep. The Japanese management technique comes in handy. We should apply to our life as well. The 5 why. They believe the real cause of any problem is 5 layers deep. So in Japanese manufacturing units, they'll ask the question why 5 times. And maybe after the second why, or the third why, or the fourth why, you'll get to the core of the problem. Sometimes I think Rumi said it best. He said, maybe you're just looking among the branches what really lies in the roots. And sometimes we're just trimming the branches, and maybe it's the root somewhere, the root cause of our discontent. We got to treat that. We got to identify that. Or the root cause of my experiencing a lack of purpose. I've got to revisit that. Why is it happening? It's possibly happening because you have a skill set, a mindset, which is way bigger than your current role is using right now. So what do? Either you wait for your boss or your employer to give you a bigger role, right? And that could be forever. That could never happen, right? In a corporate setup. Or you carve one out for yourself. So I chose the latter. I said, I'm going to carve one out for myself, where I have the liberty to come up with my creative pursuits, to follow them, to execute them. We don't need anyone's permission. And in the process, we serve other people, and we'll see what happens.
Right, got you. But I'm still curious. So when I had decided to leave my corporate job, to be honest, I did not know for sure this is what I'm going to do. Were you sure at that time?
No, there was a vague idea. I was more or less clear about the direction it would take. It was going to be education, sort of education, and I wouldn't say empowering others to. It was education. It was something to do with educating other people. So it was that vague. We could start a school when we moved back. We could start a IELTS training, English training center for a lot of kids who want to they aspire to go abroad, and that's in huge demand from the part of the country where I come from. I live in Jalandhar in Punjab. That's where I moved
Yeah.
back to in 2007. I'm currently based here as well. And that was like something to fall back upon. If nothing works, we could do this. But side by side to my hotel job, thankfully, thanks to my boss, Thomas Fullard, thanks to the wonderful team that I had in place, I had time at hand, I had liberty, I had a great work culture. I was 40 miles south of London, great opportunities to listen to conferences, other speakers, and executive coaching, NLP. So there was a full on parallel thing happening to my day job. I was preparing myself for what I didn't know yet. But it was like it's like a funnel thing. You start out big, and gradually it begins to narrow down into something more productive. And in fact, my first speaking engagement also happened as a act of serendipity. This friend of mine, Jaspal Singh Paji, I remember him for that, and I just happened to visit him. He was a green card holder. He was running a software company here in town. I went to visit him, have a coffee with him, see how his team is working, how his adapted back to India and the work environment, business environment, etc. As a small entrepreneur, as a single medium entrepreneur. And he asked, so what are your plans? What do you plan to do? I said, well, I've done all these courses. I've done executive coaching, NLP, Tony Robbins, Fire Walk, motivation. As if he was waiting to hear the word motivation. As soon as I said it, so my first client visit was per se not a client visit. It was a social let's meet up visit. The word motivation came up. He said, look, I have a team of 15. Coding is actually a very predictable job. They're bored. Can you do something? I had no clue. I said yes. And that was we had 6 or 7 days in between. I had to create something, put something together. Well, the good thing was we were supposed to finish at 6 p.m. We were there till 8, 8:30, 9. Everybody was having a good time. I was having a good time. I had one of those moments where you're like, was that really me? I managed to hold their attention. So he sat down with me. He was he is a few years older to me, and he said, "Listen, I think you can really make a living out of this. If you're heading in this direction, I think it'll be a pretty good direction for what I saw today." And that was sort of the external validation as well that one might need perhaps on your first engagement. So yeah, things come together when you step forward.
So true. From 2007 to now, it's been almost a decade and more. So, what changed? What changed the way that you started as a coach? And today, of course, a coach, a motivational speaker, a mentor, a TEDx, blah, blah, blah. I mean, of course, it goes on. So, what has really transitioned in your learning, in the way that you see this industry going, and you yourself?
Oh, so it's 14 years. And first of all, these 14 years have been like a university education for me that I did not have, so that I did not have earlier. I learned on the job. I've been blessed to travel the length and breadth of this country. So virtual events have just started now, Archana. And all of these digital tools, digital influencer, LinkedIn influencer, Instagram, all of this is recent. 2007, I would physically have to, so imagine this. So Amritsar Airport had few flights. We had Jet Airways and Air India back then, maybe, and I think that was it. And you could either fly or I would catch the Shatabdi frequently. Jalandhar to Delhi Shatabdi. And then onwards too. So maybe 10-20% of my speaking engagements were in Delhi. The rest were all over the country. 10-20% in my state. So, and 80% outside. So in fact, the service staff in Shatabdi started remembering me. by my face and by my name.
Was
That's
a
how
platinum card
frequently.
holder, right?
Huh?
You were the top.
They don't have platinum cards.
I'm just
I
saying.
wish they.
It was like the
Right.
platinum card holder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if the, yeah, it was like being a platinum card holder. But anyway, with the love and affection of those guys, it was
Yeah.
always nice to be back on board on the Shatabdi. It was a lot of travel, length and breadth, all the way from north, south, east, west, all different places, places that I'd never seen before in this country before, and it's such an amazing thing in our country. I think unique thing in the world is you without a passport, you can actually experience being in a different country. Is so different, is so vastly different at times, one part to another, that you feel like, oh, this is entirely different from what I'm used to in my part of the nation. So a lot of adaptability happened, a lot of learning and changes that came about in terms of presenting and understanding the nuances of what people understand and how what moves them in different parts of the country. So I think there was one heck of a training in public speaking and leadership and human behavior over these last 14 years. What has changed? I think a number of followers have grown. That's one thing that has definitely changed. So there's more people who listen to what I have to say now as opposed to 2007. Which is interesting. And all organic growth happened over a period of time. What has changed in the industry? Oh, well, back in 2007, I had 2 or 3 other people who were doing this full time. 2 or 3 people. Mr. Shiv Kheda was around, Mr. Batra Senior, Mr. Batra Junior. Priya Kumar was around that point of time. She just started and she had this firewalk thing. And I think so there were 3 or 4 full-time professional motivational speakers back in 2007, 2008. A lot of them, regional players were there who were catering to their own areas. And now that there's a huge, sizable chunk of, speakers, coaches, influencers out there, which I believe overall is a good thing for the country. It's definitely, we are one of the youngest countries in the world, and youngsters need other people who are a few steps ahead of them to guide and show them the way. So I think that's how the industry overall has changed. And it continues to evolve. YouTube has one of the biggest growth markets for YouTube has been in India, which is, again, a wonderful tool for taking out information and inspiration to parts where this sort of information is not available in the conventional ways and formats.
So Simerjeet, coming to my question, things are changing rapidly. We need to speed up as well. I feel that I need to speed up. You're still in, what you're doing for now over a decade. We are the newcomers. What do you have to say to people who are joining this space? People like
so first of all, do away with the fear that you need to. There is some race and you need to be, running at full speed or you'll be left behind. Do away with that notion entirely, please. You're all we're on a dedicated 300 megabytes line. We just did a virtual keynote before. You have to carve out your own niche, and that happens by virtue of sharing your gifts with the world, right? So you could be someone who's naturally oriented towards maybe women empowerment, perhaps, or someone is great with young kids at school, or someone is great at It's because I'm going on HD, and now we're getting 300 megabytes download at the moment. Somebody is a public speaking expert, somebody's a time management expert, and that's absolutely fine. So the more you have this pressure on yourself that I have to live up to, since you're recording, is your network able to handle HD video? The more pressure you will put on yourself to be a copy of someone else, and I want you to we're going in 1080 the resolution. You want me to put? I want you to undertake your maybe own reduce journey, that a little, face your own challenges, and discover your own ways forward. Because what might have worked for the person that you're looking up to, whoever it is, in whatever space they are, what might have worked for them may not work for you because they covered their journey long ago, 5 or 6, 7 years ago, and things change. It's a very dynamic environment. You have digital tools, so many other things entering. So, and innovation happens in the moment, right? So you find innovative solutions, should be better now, not necessarily based on somebody else's experience 7 years ago, but on the range of options available to you today, on your strength areas today, on where you are based today, what kind of market you want to serve. what your
I tell you
limitations
what I
are,
can do.
perhaps.
Do you want me to
Some of the
record
most
my
innovative
part
ideas
from
will
here and then
emerge
send it
thanks
across?
to your
Yeah.
limitations.
So
One of my
Yeah.
limitations, Archana, was
Let's do.
back in 2007 is I moved back to Jalandhar. That's where my hometown is. So it's not Hyderabad, it's not Bangalore, it's not Delhi NCR. It's a tier two city. I'm 6 hours drive away
okay.
and 50 minutes flight away. So it's not the most convenient location to be in. However, that led to innovation. I would have gone the traditional path of marketing if I would have been in Delhi NCR. Print brochures, hire a sales team who would reach out to corporate decision makers, say, this is what we do. Would you like to invite me for your next, you know, conference or whatever it happens to be? Instead, now since I didn't have that option, I could not use it even if I wanted to. It wasn't practical. We were barely making any money to make ends meet for ourselves, leave apart hiring someone else in another part of the country. So said, here's a free tool, it's called YouTube. Here's another free tool, it's called Google, you know. So, and we launched our website, which is not free tool, by the way, but again, affordable. The fourth day we launch our website, Archana, the phone rings. Me and my wife were doing a consulting assignment with a hotel in Ludhiana, helping them improving their customer service. And the phone rings. My wife's number was listed on the website, and it's the British High Commission in Delhi. They say, is Simerjeet available to come and talk to her team 3-4 days from now? And I had an aha moment. I said, okay, wow, sitting in Jalandhar, if this could work for Delhi, it could work for Dubai. If this could work for Delhi, it could work for Bangalore and Hyderabad. So Maslow said this, he said, and all you have is a hammer, the whole world looks like a nail to you. So all we had, the hammer we had was the internet and digital tools. And it was 2007. It was still early days. It wasn't as crowded as it is today. So we hammered everywhere, whether it's video testimonials or clips of my speeches or search engine rankings or Facebook or Google ads or whatever it happened to be. And that really helped. It helped us reach an international audience, in fact, where we were just aiming at a national one. So great things happen when you go with the flow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very encouraged to hear your story, to be honest. But so, what do you think is your niche today? I mean, of course, you've tried, tested, I'm sure, various formats. Where do you see that you're most impactful?
I would say my niche is solving problems that involve the mindset of people. So whether it's individual or collective, so that's my niche. So specific problems, more in terms of change, adapting to change. I think that's one. As far as the youngsters are concerned, helping them make unconventional career choices, that's another one of my niche areas. My corporate clients are concerned, it's definitely embracing change, it's definitely innovation, it's thinking outside the box, and it's definitely leadership. It's about challenging the status quo. It's about not just blindly following the systems and the procedures and the culture that you have inherited. It's questioning it and creating a new one in the process. It's not being afraid to question. So those are sort of my niche areas. But at the heart of all of this is problem solving. Whenever I work with or speak with at a conference, I work with the conference organizer to know who's coming in, what is the theme, what is the problem we're trying to solve here, and how can I best contribute to that, to solving that problem. So whether it's certain companies trying to reinvent itself and they're having a change management issue, or certain companies trying to improve the potential of its leaders, and they see growth on the horizon, but they want to prepare their leaders right now. So maybe a transformational leadership program is helpful there, or a leadership talk is helpful there. So I think we have very little of like ready-made plug and play programs. I love to maybe create something that solves specific problems. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely good. Um, so in between, when you do certain programs, the impact of that remains. It remains for a few days, probably it remains for a few weeks. If it's an extended program,
Right.
for let's say 6 months, it
Right.
remains for over a year. But then what happens then? Because see, changing a habit, changing a mindset is a constant. Like we have to do this every single day. What is
Sure.
your experience? What can we do better? as people. We want to change. We do a fantastic program, and then it remains with us, and most of it filters out, and we come back to normal. What is your experience?
No, great question. I think the onus is on us by and large. And if our expectation is that I've listened to a speaker, or I've read a book, or watched a video, or read a piece of poetry, or watched a movie perhaps, and now my life should change. Well, it will, it can, and it could have changed even without the speaker or the book coming into the picture, because it's you who makes that change. It's you who are in charge, right? So you will, on your journey, come across various stimulants, various catalysts. But until you're ready for the transformation, nothing will work. So the Buddhists have this philosophy: when the student is ready, the teacher emerges. So it's conditional. The student has to be ready. And then anyone or anything or any experience can be a teacher. So two things to answer your question. It's a wonderful question, by the way. One is, take charge. You're the captain of your ship. You XYZ person that you look up to has presented some information that could change your life, but not until you allow it to. Not until you implement it, right? So as much as I would want to go into someone's mind and change neural corrections around so they can be a better human being, but physically I can't do that. You can take a horse to the water, you cannot force a horse to drink it, right? On the organizational side, I think it's down to the culture and the leadership. It's down to the culture and leadership. You can listen to great ideas, great speakers, great new philosophies and trends, etc. But if your culture does not support it, that new behavior cannot be installed per se in the environment. Your culture has to support it. So for example, your culture supports competition by rewarding the sales person who is performing the best, who's bringing in the best numbers. But you bring in a speaker on collaboration and teamwork, but your work culture is cutthroat competition. It's going to be nice information, good listening experience. We do the trust fall, we blindfold ourselves, we do all those funny things, and it's nice. But I go back to workplace, I know if I don't beat the other guy, if I don't do better than him, I won't be getting the recognition. I won't be on the top anymore. It's about survival. Well, what am I going to choose? The theory that I learned in the conference room or the day-to-day reality? I'm going to go for the reality. So it's down to leaders to change the culture and the leadership style and how they lead if they want effective change lasting in the organizations. That's from an organization perspective. Individual perspective, it's when you're ready. If you're ready to change, a little child can trigger transformation. You just observing a sunset, it can trigger transformation. When you're meditating, looking at a sunset, and your mind is ready, that's an indication a day has gone by. Did I achieve anything? Or my life is going to go by someday like this. The sun is going to set on my life someday. Would I be happy? You're going to have these conversations inside your head. The deciding factor here is readiness, and then the desire to implement it, and then to stick with the transformation process. I think those things are really important.
You are right. Yes, I just feel that if everybody understands this, bingo. I think we will be beautiful, transform people. Yeah. But we are humans after all. We go back to, where I think, we have to push back and be reminded how positive mindset needs to be. This podcast is about second act, and you are changing second acts of people. As I describe it, second act is a place of reinventing, rediscovering oneself, finding another friend, maybe, knowing something you've never done before, or just finding a
Sure.
person. So, what is your second act?
Oh, I think it's. Am I on the second one? I don't even know. Yeah. I think Shakespeare, he said, all the world is a stage and all men and women are merely players, merely actors. So, why live life with a single act, right? We're living in the age of multiple careers, of multiple things going on. So why restrict something that is going to occupy the majority of your time, your work, to just be restricted to one domain? But not that you have to for the sake of doing it, not just because it's trending to do a second act, that you too should leave your safe, comfortable corporate job, which you spent your entire life building it, getting there, and now you say, no, everybody else is going in for a startup, so I better do it too? No, not recommended, unless there is a strong calling to do something else. My second act is the one after motivational speaking. Is that what you're hinting at, or the one I'm in right now?
No, whatever you feel is a higher purpose that's coming out, or whatever you feel is your second innings or second life that's bringing to you.
Yeah.
It's the way
So
that, yeah.
I think my higher purpose is service. So wherever that takes me, I'll follow. I'll gladly follow. My higher purpose is service, to be of service to other people. So it's speaking, sharing what I know at the moment. It's writing or podcasting or creating videos. That's the medium. The medium changes. So back in the hospitality industry, you are from the industry yourself, Archana, you would know. I was standing in hotel lobbies, how can I help? Now I'm standing again on the stages across different conferences across the world, or in front of my camera with the same question, how can I serve, right? Question remains the same, the intent remains the same, the medium has changed. So I don't know what lies ahead, but service is my driving force, in whatever shape or form it takes. I am ready, I'm eager to take on those roles. I think the desire that is becoming more strong now, that I can sense in the last couple of years, having spent 14 years doing what I'm doing right now, is to bring about more grassroots level change. And to that, we've already changed course. We've already taken initiatives with programs such as Coach on Campus, where we go to school and university campuses. I do Q&A with the students. We film it, we put it online. We're doing more of that. So what I see happening in the future is me reaching out more to people who've been left out by the formal system, people who've been left out by the quote unquote the development that we are so proud of. That, but there are people, a large section of people, youngsters especially, who've been left out from that. So that would be the second act, is to connect more with the grassroots level of our nation and across the world, for people who need information and inspiration the most.
In life, as a coach, you're always serving somebody else's expectation, right? What is it that happens every time that you are performing or presenting and it doesn't turn out to be the way it's supposed to? What happens then?
Yeah, happens. It happens a lot of times. I remember Dubai. We were once, and we had the team were on a offsite reward and recognition ceremony in Dubai, and it was 4 o'clock. Motivational speaker on stage. 4:30. A trip to the Arabic, the sand dunes thing. I don't know what they call it. Very popular, but they're followed by a belly dancer coming in, right? So, do you know where people are already? They want to say, okay, let's hear this guy out quickly. I don't even want to listen what he has to say, right? So it happens. How do I deal with it? Not take it personally. That's how I deal with it, is to not take it personally. There are audiences which are ready and receptive, waiting to hear that message, and it's going to be adding immense value to what they're doing. And there are audiences on whom a speaker has been forced in a conference. And that too is the case. You do your best, but at the same time, understand that in the second option, if that is happening, that's to not take it personally. It is not a reflection of your capability or worth as a speaker. It's just the situation. That's the way it is. And to move on, and perhaps maybe if you have a candid chat with the conference organizer later on, you talk to them about it, or you keep in mind the dynamics of the situation next time to make sure, as far as possible, you're in a better situation where people are actually there to learn.
Yeah, that's nice, but it does something to you personally. I'm working on it myself. By the end of it, you want to impact lives, you want to touch, you want to really see the difference. And if even if like a one comment comes from somewhere to say, yeah, it could have been better. I didn't expect this, but whatever was delivered was, could have been better. So all those things really like, pull you back and say, okay, so, next time I'll do it, even better than this. And then something else happens probably. And then it's a constant thing
No,
again.
Archana, you have to pause there and remind yourself it's not a performance. It's not a dance act or something act or a ballet thing or something or a stand-up comedians act. Well, stand-up comedians are different. They're also very spontaneous. They improvise a lot. So it's not a performance. It's intent of service. And if it does not meet somebody's expectations, I think it's not for you to take it personally. By all means, stay committed to improving yourself. By all means. But that should not affect you for a long time. Maybe temporarily it would. We're all human at the end of the day. But it
Yeah.
should not impact you in the long run. What's important is how you see yourself. Uh, Self concept is one of the defining things in human performance. How do I
Yeah.
see myself? Am I a person worthy of my own love and appreciation at all times? I love what I chatted with Marissa Peer
Wow.
sometime back. Yeah, and her mantra is "I am enough. I am enough." And that if one really understands that and you take it to heart and you implement in your life, it could be transformational. That I am enough. I am enough. So it's not like you're trying to fulfill a void to please others or to gain their appreciation. I always say these are the biggest traps in life, especially in a public life.
Hmm.
The trap of appreciation, the trap of acknowledgement, right? Why didn't anybody acknowledge what I did? Why didn't anybody appreciate what I did? Very dangerous, because when you have it, it's an aphrodisiac. You feel really good about life. When you don't have it, suddenly you feel miserable. So now, you, the one who's talking about empowerment, it suddenly does not feel empowered anymore, and that's not a nice place to be in. So I know it's very hard to implement. It's very easy to talk about it, but I think detaching from outcomes is what is really here at the core. Detach from the outcome. We've done several videos in which we put a lot of effort, Archana, a lot of effort to create them and they didn't have the sort of views that we would like to or we expected to. One option is we just sit and continue to mourn our loss of what has happened. The other option is we move on and go on to creating the next piece of content. And that's my suggestion to you and to everybody else who might be on a path of changing lives or impacting other people as well. One bad experience, don't let it linger on in your memory far too long. Look for your next opportunity to impact the next life and the next one and the next one.
And absolutely. And I actually purposely asked this question because, in our life, we also come across various circumstances, instances where we are going through the same thing, with each other or within ourselves. But being a coach, it is expected that, you are able to handle failures or, anything that comes your way, which is an obstacle very smoothly. So for all those of you who are hearing us and, who are in this path, of
Yeah,
transforming lives, they also need to understand that it's a constant journey.
sure.
And I want to share my vulnerability as much as we should show ours because it's a learning process, and I have no shame. And I just want to encourage more and more. In fact, I'm told, why do you speak about it? You're not supposed to. You are not supposed to do this. And I said, no, I will, because these are challenges I face as a coach myself. You know. So I purposely said, okay, let me ask you, how do you handle it? And what is the mantra of like, bringing in, transforming one to the other, every, program that you bring in. So thanks for that answer. I'm glad.
No problem. No problem. I think one of the biggest responsibility of anybody who's walking on this path is to stay aligned with your higher self, is to ensure that you are at a vibrational place of joy, of happiness, of gratitude. It's not about knowledge. It's not about facts and informations and who I can quote and what study I can quote, or et cetera, et cetera. Or it's about this is vibrational work. At the core, this is vibrational work. It is a work of the soul and the heart, and therefore we must take those spiritual baths more often.
Yeah.
We must cleanse the energy and be in a more grateful, more open state of mind, and we will suddenly find that that leaves an impact on someone else, even if we don't say a word. Even if we don't say a word at times, you're just vibrating healing, vibrating possibilities, and that makes a huge impact.
So true. So I won't take more time, but we have a rapid fire, which
Let's
you
do that.
have. So three life mantras that you carry with you.
Three life mantras. One is make the best of what you have right where you are, right? That's my first life mantra. Make the best of what you have. Number two, we're here for joy. We're here for joy. We are not here to maybe accomplishments are fine if as and when they happen. I'm all for them. Enjoy accomplishments, be competitive, but we are here for joy. And number three is to not forget your own journey. So how do I put it in simpler words? There are people around you who would be going through tough times, and you've been through those times yourself as well. So empathy, in terms of if you can even make one person smile or assist one person, your job is done. That's all of humanity. All of humanity is inside one person. So if it is within your means at that point of time to maybe lift that other person up. So be a lifter. That's my mantra number three. Was searching for these words. Be a lifter. Mantra number three. Now you feel better about yourself in the process. Everybody wins. You create a better world. You partake in the creation of a better world. So joy is what we're here for. Be a lifter. I don't know what was the first one. I forgot.
Oh, you said joy, motivation. No.
Make the best of wherever you are. Make the best of what you have.
Yes, that's right.
Jalandhar or San Francisco shouldn't make a difference.
There could be my second question as well. If not Jalandhar, then where?
If not Jalandhar, then where? Southern California.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely marvelous. I think, that's where we should all go.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind Arizona too. I lived there for a while. It gets a little bit too hot in the summers, but I loved Arizona. Fond memories of the place back in 2000, 2001. So yeah.
If not a motivational speaker, then what?
A farmer.
आप जलंधर में तो हुई ज्यादा दूर नहीं
नहीं यहाँ ज़्यादा खेती नहीं होती वैसे जलंधर में, but I would be right now I'm a farmer of the heart, and if I wouldn't if I wouldn't be doing that, I'll be farmer of the soil. But yeah, I think again, it's creation. It's look at it. It's creation. It's contribution. It's service. वो खुद नहीं खाता है. The farmer doesn't eat all of the grains he produces himself. A is creating. There's huge amount of risk that is involved. There's nature coming in, consistency, day in, day out, the hard work, the joy of seeing his crops, the simplicity of sitting under a peepal tree on a hot summer afternoon and sipping lassi, or just hearing when the crops they are ripe, and then if there is a gust of wind, you can hear them rubbing against each other, and that makes a very distinct kind of sound, and that's just beautiful. There's bliss in that moment. So yeah, or a chef, if not a farmer, or a chef.
You like cooking?
I love cooking. Again, is creation. Is contribute. I love cooking for the fact that the joy it can bring to me and to other people. So yeah, and then the creativity that it involves. Yeah.
I think I should catch up with your wife to check what's happening behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, she's in trouble for all the prep she has to do for, like, she says I'm the assistant chef here. I said yeah, right.
I was coming. My husband also claims that he's really good cook, but what happens behind the scenes? I think the wife.
Though it's teamwork at the end of the day, it's not me doing a solo job.
Okay, so one more. What motivates you every day?
What motivates me every day is that I have the golden opportunity to do what I love doing. I have the resources to act on that opportunity, and not many people have that. Not many people know what their golden opportunity is. Not many people have created the wherewithal of the resources to use that golden opportunity. I thank God every day I walk into my office. Thank God for this opportunity. I thank God for the wherewithal, the resources, the people, the equipment that I need to make full use of my opportunity. And that is
Right.
something I'm most grateful for, and that keeps me going.
Very beautiful. So, last question. What is the next act coming?
When?
What?
What? I don't know yet, Archana. I don't know yet. Again, I think as I'm going through the same process that I went through in 2007, says I don't know yet, and then something new takes birth. So I'm pregnant. That's what I can say. With
Lovely.
new ideas,
Nice.
with something new that is emerging. I don't know what it is. And I'm just doing my job. I say, Lord, use me as your tool as you wish. And I'm ready to walk forward on that path. I don't know what it is. I do see maybe it's going to take a different shape and form. I do hope to retain the core of what started this journey. I hope that doesn't ever get compromised. That would not be fair. That would not be nice. I hope the core is service. I hope it remains service. But I am ready and receptive for whatever shape and form this mission takes at the moment, whether it's maybe moves on to other fields. But if people benefit from my existence on this planet, I'll be a happy person. I'll die a happy man.
Very lovely chatting out with you. You are doing a splendid job, I have to say. And continue to do so. May you find many acts, many second acts still, which are underlying, just to transform yourself into the world. So thanks, Simerjeet. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure,
Archana. Thank
really.
you. Thank you for being a lovely host, for asking these wonderful questions, for creating this platform where you're hosting very wonderful people, for curating these amazing conversations. I'm so glad I could be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.